Well, hello there. How you doing today? I hope you're doing well, because I'm doing pretty well as well. Pretty well as well, yeah. That's me right now. The reason for it is I just got my hands on my personal Spuhr mount. Yes, I decided to spend some money and buy a really beautiful high precision mount, or at least so I'm told these are really high precision. But there's a bit of a catch. I did not buy this new. Absolutely not. I can't justify spending $410, which is what this mount costs brand new, for just having a precision mount. Oh no, I bought this with an optic for a very good price, which I'll touch on later. But all you have to know is that this is $410 brand new. And is it worth it? What does it really offer up that would justify that cost? Well, to get into it, we first have to look at the box and then look inside, obviously. Right off the bat, it's a very nice box, like I always like to see. There's all the information you were going to need right there. 34 millimeter tube, 6 mil of cant, or 20.6 MOA. There's your heights and your lengths, yada yada yada. Model numbers, lot numbers, all that. And look at the bottom, made in Sweden. So right there, that's going to add to the overall price, simply because nothing is cheap in Sweden, or at least I would safely assume that. The rest of the box is, well, just that. It's a box. Nicely illustrated, not too fancy. It gets the job done. Now, before I crack this open, just keep in mind I did buy this used as a package with another optic, and as a result, it might look a little unique. But you already know that because you saw the thumbnail. Yep, has been Cerakoted from the previous owner. And I think that's why I got the whole entire package for the price that I did, because I don't think people wanted to buy this being Cerakoted. Me, I really like the desert camo. It looks great. I don't know what gun I'm going to put it on, but I'll eventually figure it out. But right off the bat, I mean, paint aside, you can see that there's a lot of attention to detail on this thing. You already got a bubble level in the back, which is in the perfect location as far as I'm concerned. And that right there is another one of those features, which is why this is so expensive. You also have a very large locking bar on the side, which is numbered in the order that you have to torque this down, or at least the order you should torque this down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like torque down a head on your car or an intake manifold or anything, you want to start in the middle and work your way out in a circle. So really cool attention to detail right off the bat without even getting too far into it. Also note, one common trait of Spuhr mounts is that the caps go on at a 45. So when you mount these caps on, you're going to be doing it one side and then the other. But we'll get to that in a second. The first thing that really comes to me with this is weight. This thing does not feel very heavy whatsoever. And that's a good thing. Yeah, you might want a heavy gun, but you could always add more weight to a gun. It's a lot harder to remove weight from a firearm. 8, 10, 12, 1, 2 caps, and then the actual base. So it's 9.5 ounces, which does make it a bit of a porker, but this is typically going to be going on precision rifles where a couple ounces really isn't going to make much of a difference. But even still, I feel that 9.5 ounces for something like this isn't all that terrible. As you can see, there are 6 fasteners per cap, both front and rear, and these ribs on the inside, which they're not for surface area, but they do look pretty good. Very smooth finish on the inside, basically perfect. I highly doubt that there's any sort of imperfections on this that would cause damage to your scope. Let's take a look at the bottom and see what we got. So you have 2 big locking sections on the rigid side, and on the claw side, this is going to engage completely onto the side of the pick rail. You have 1 lock in the middle, which is going to engage on the rail, and you have a lot of surface area over here to give you plenty of clamping force when you torque these down. Also note the big milling pockets in the bottom to help alleviate some of the weight. Spuhr really put their time and effort in engineering this, because you even have drilled and tapped holes on the side for mounting accessories. And then you have this little ramp right in the middle, which is a feature that, if you're not familiar with, is going to be really exciting for you, because it's really exciting for me. It's something that I wish more mount manufacturers would do. Machining a little slot like that will not add a lot of machine time to this part, and what it does is just so incredibly ingenious. If anyone are wondering, these are M4 by 10 with a T20 head, and you could actually buy extra screws like the previous owner did from Spuhr, because we should only need 12, but I think there's like 19 there, something like that. So real quick, before I go any further, that ramp works in conjunction with this tool to level your optic. And as you can see, if you have a really big optic, you can come all the way out, or if the base is really, really small or high up there, you can push this in and hopefully it'll bottom out with the scope, torque everything down, you remove this, and now everything is dead nuts perfect. And it's doubly so to have this beautiful little bubble level in the back to know that everything's going to be basically perfect. Really well done, Spuhr. That's a really nice feature, and this is a really nice feature. So as for how it sits on a rail, put it on. I'm not going to torque these down. I'm just going to finger tight these. And there you have it. It's a pretty slim profile. Now, the one thing I don't like about it, there's got to be something, is that this bubble level is forced to be on this side, which means that the claws are forced to be on this side. And you can see just how much farther they stick out on the right-hand side as opposed to the left-hand side. Bolt throw issue might be a problem if you're running a 90-degree bolt gun, but for everything else, I'm sure this is going to be perfectly fine. So the fact that you can guarantee get your scope level perfectly with this, and then get everything set up perfectly level with this little bubble level is, onto itself, awesome. The caps are also a really nice feature. I like having 6 screws on precision stuff because it doesn't require as much torque because you have a lot more surface area. Surface area just means you have to grip it less to have it hold as much as something that would be a lot narrower and require more torque. You're also going to hopefully deflect the tube less on an optic if you do accidentally over torque it, but hopefully that wouldn't be an issue. Another thing I really like is the fact that these are both T20 heads. Another really smart thing to do. Why would you have these different? A lot of manufacturers do that, and I don't understand why. Everything should be universal with a single tool, so you could make adjustments as need be with minimal tooling. Really smartly done. And that's what I have to say about this. It is extremely smartly done. You can tell a lot of thought went into designing, developing, and manufacturing this. Granted, it is painted, so it's a little hard to see, but as far as imperfections go, there's none. It looks exactly how you'd expect it to, which is basically perfect. Now, I'm not done reviewing this yet. I am going to do a head-to-head with this and all of my other mounts that I have currently reviewed and do a return to zero test. It was recommended to me by one of the viewers, and you know what? I wish I had thought about it myself because it's going to be really good to do. I'm going to be using one optic across all boards except for this one. This is a 34mm tube. The other ones are 30s. But I'm going to be using my tracking test rig, which is very rigid. I'm going to zero everything out, take it off, put it on, try it about 3 times, and see if it can return to zero perfectly or not. And from here on forward, I'm going to be including that segment in the mount reviews. So hopefully that'll be something you'd like to see, and I'm going to keep on including that from here on out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time. And a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you, this wouldn't be possible.